Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In a time when public trust in government is declining, the American people deserve a fair and transparent redistricting process that ensures that every voice and every vote is heard and accounted for. The number of truly competitive districts is also declining in the U.S. Congress. We're seeing more polarization and less willingness to work across the aisle to do what's right for our country. Unfortunately, in North Carolina and across the country, partisan gerrymandering has been used as a tool by politicians of both parties to manipulate electoral outcomes with almost surgical precision. Some people in North Carolina have seen their district lines and their representative in Congress change 4 times in the last 10 years because of gerrymandering by the North Carolina General Assembly. Courts threw out electoral maps drawn by Republican legislators 3 times in the past decade due to gerrymandering. That was 2016, 2019, and 2021. We recently, though, had a brief moment of relief. In the last election, North Carolina voters sent 7 Democrats and 7 Republicans to the U.S. Congress under fair, court-drawn maps for our 50-50 state. North Carolina's 13th district, which I'm proud to represent, is a true and was a true swing district. In 2023, our constituents had to suffer through yet another unprecedented redraw, resulting in yet another partisan gerrymander for North Carolina. The maps are again being litigated in the courts. But this story isn't unique to North Carolina, and the problem isn't just with the current politicians in our state legislature. History has made one thing clear. Politicians can't be trusted to fairly draw their own maps. That's why I introduced the Fair Maps Act. The Fair Maps Act would combat partisan gerrymandering by establishing independent, nonpartisan redistricting commissions in every state. The Duke University quantifying gerrymandering team recently found that if we ended gerrymandering, there could be 37 to 42 more additional competitive House seats around the country, which would double the number of competitive seats in Congress compared to the under 40 that are available today. Listen, folks, that's a big deal. Competitive districts are where we can have a real debate about the best ideas and elect representatives willing to work across the aisle to get things done. My bill, the Fair Maps Act, would help make that a reality, and it would strengthen our democracy. By ending partisan gerrymandering, we can restore fairness and ensure that voters are the ones choosing their politicians, not the other way around. This is something that's been tried and has worked in a handful of states already. In Arizona, Colorado, and others, independent and nonpartisan redistricting commissions have drawn electoral maps that are more responsive to the will of the people than maps drawn by politicians in other states. Voters should choose their politicians. Politicians shouldn't choose their voters. And while my name won't be on the ballot in 2024, I'm not giving up or going out quietly in the fight for fair maps and an end to partisan gerrymandering. I'm going to continue to fight with every ounce of my energy for an end to partisan gerrymandering and to protect the right to vote for every single North Carolinian. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of the hardworking men and women of the UAW in my home state of North Carolina. UAW workers reached a historic new agreement with Daimler Trucks, which included a record wage increase, profit sharing for the first time ever, a cost of living increase, and much more. Right now, support for unions is near an all-time high, and we're seeing this momentum pick up in North Carolina and across the South. I'm proud to stand with the new generation of workers as they exercise their collective strength and make their voices heard. Unions built our middle class, and I'll always stand with the men and women of labor at the local, state, and federal levels. Once again, I'd like to congratulate the UAW on this historic contract agreement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Go to Clause